That sugar in your pantry isn't cane juice anymore. The Domino granulated you've been baking with since childhood, dissolved into syrup, crystallized into uniform grains, stripped of every trace of molasses. That imperial you grab for coffee could be beet sugar, could be cane, they don't even tell you which. I spent 2 weeks investigating what's actually in America's sugar supply. What I found made me throw bags in the trash. In the next 15 minutes, I'm exposing exactly which sugar products are lying to you. The ones using industrial refining to strip and rebuild sugar crystals, and the real sugar options that still behave like evaporated cane juice. By the end, you'll know exactly which bags to avoid and the single test that separates real sugar from reconstructed crystals. Let's start with the sugar villains in your local grocery store. Domino granulated. White sugar has been in American kitchens since 1900. 4 generations of baking history. Your great-grandmother's pies, your grandmother's cookies, your own birthday cakes. But somewhere in the mid-20th century, when industrial refining became standard, Domino stopped being cane juice reduced and became cane juice dismantled and rebuilt. ASR Group owns Domino, and they've perfected the art of taking sugar and making it perfect, too perfect. They start with raw sugar, cane juice that's been evaporated and crystallized, that's legitimate. But then they dissolve those crystals back into syrup, filter out every trace of molasses, and recrystallize the sugar into uniform grains. You're not eating cane juice that was reduced, you're eating cane juice that was dissolved and rebuilt. The refining process strips everything except sucrose. Raw sugar contains trace minerals from the cane, tiny amounts of calcium, iron, magnesium. Domino removes those minerals through chemical filtering, creating 99.9% pure sucrose. That purity is marketed as quality when it's actually the removal of everything that made sugar complex. We're paying for this destruction. We're paying Domino to take sugar, dissolve it, strip it to pure sucrose, then recrystallize it into perfect grains. And we're doing it because the crystals are uniform, the color is pure white, and it dissolves instantly in our coffee. We've been trained to prefer sugar that's been rebuilt. The behavior is what sold us. Domino dissolves completely, never clumps, measures consistently. That's because every crystal is identical, same size, same shape, same purity. Natural sugar varies because cane varies. Domino doesn't vary because refining eliminated variation. You're getting standardized sucrose that behaves like a chemistry experiment, not like evaporated plant juice. C&H Pure Cane Sugar has been marketed as pure cane since 1906. That label creates the impression that this is minimally processed cane sugar, just cane juice evaporated and crystallized. The reality? Pure cane means the source is cane, not that the processing is pure. This is fully refined sugar stripped of molasses and minerals, just like Domino. ASR Group also owns C&H, which means Domino, and C&H are made in the same refineries using the same process. The only difference is regional branding. Domino dominates the East Coast. C&H dominates the West Coast. Same sugar, different bags. The pure cane claim is technically accurate but deeply misleading. The sugar comes from cane, not from beets. That's true, but the cane has been dissolved, filtered, and recrystallized into pure sucrose. The pure refers to the source, not to the processing. You're getting cane-sourced sucrose that's been refined to 99.9% purity. The marketing emphasizes Hawaiian heritage and cane fields. The packaging shows sugarcane. The branding creates associations with tropical plantations and natural sweetness. None of that changes what happens at the refinery. The cane is dissolved and rebuilt, just like every other white sugar. My grandmother swore by C&H. She said it was better than other sugars because it was pure cane. She didn't know that pure cane was a marketing term, not a processing description. She thought she was buying cane juice that had been minimally processed. In actuality, it had been maximally processed just from a specific plant source. The behavior is identical to Domino. Perfect crystals, instant dissolving, zero variation. That consistency is proof of industrial refining. Real cane sugar varies slightly batch to batch because cane varies. C&H never varies because refining standardized it. Great value granulated. Sugar is Walmart's private label sugar, and they won't tell you whether it's cane or beet. The label just says sugar. That vagueness is intentional. Walmart sources from whoever offers the lowest price, and the source changes based on commodity markets. Beet sugar and cane sugar are chemically identical. Both are 99.9% sucrose after refining, but they behave differently in some baking applications. Beet sugar can cause cookies to spread more and caramelize differently than cane sugar. Professional bakers know this and specify cane sugar in recipes. Home bakers using great value are gambling on which source they got. The commodity sourcing is the business model. Walmart contracts with multiple sugar refiners and buys from whoever offers the best price that month. Sometimes it's cane from Florida, sometimes it's beets from North Dakota. The sugar is refined to identical purity, so legally, it's all just sugar. But the source matters for how it performs. You can't know what you're buying. The bag doesn't say cane or beet, it just says sugar. If you're making caramel or meringue, applications where sugar chemistry matters, you're using an unknown variable. That's fine for coffee, problematic for precision baking. The ultra-refined nature is the same regardless of source. Whether it's cane or beet, great value sugar has been dissolved, filtered, and recrystallized into pure sucrose. The minerals are gone. The molasses is gone. You're getting rebuilt sucrose from an undisclosed plant source. At $2 per bag, great value is cheap because commodity sourcing and industrial refining are efficient. You're paying almost nothing for pure sucrose, but you're also getting zero transparency about what plant it came from. Imperial sugar has cane in the name, which creates the obvious assumption that this is cane sugar. Plot twist. Imperial also produces beet sugar, and the bags look nearly identical. Unless you read carefully, you might buy beet sugar thinking you're buying cane sugar. That's not an accident, it's strategic ambiguity. Imperial Sugar Company has been around since 1843, and they've built brand recognition around that heritage. But heritage doesn't mean transparency. Imperial refines both cane and beet sugar, packages them similarly, and relies on consumers not reading labels carefully. The cane sugar says cane sugar. The beet sugar just says sugar. Both have the Imperial name. The refining is identical regardless of source. Imperial dissolves the raw sugar, filters out everything except sucrose, and recrystallizes it into uniform grains. Whether it started as cane or beet, the final product is 99.9% pure sucrose with zero minerals or molasses. You're getting rebuilt sugar from whichever plant source Imperial processed. This matters if you're trying to avoid GMOs. Most sugar beets are genetically modified. Imperial's labeling makes that harder than it should be. The cane sugar version is clearly labeled. The beet sugar version is ambiguous. You're left guessing about the source of your sweetener. The behavior is identical between cane and beet versions. Perfect crystals, instant dissolving, complete uniformity. That consistency is proof that both have been refined to the same purity. The source plant is different, but the refining process eliminates those differences. You're getting standardized sucrose regardless of origin. Florida Crystals organic cane sugar is organic cane that's been fully refined. The organic certification means the cane was grown without synthetic pesticides or GMOs. That's better for the environment and for farm workers. But organic doesn't change what happens at the refinery. This sugar is still dissolved, filtered, and recrystallized into pure sucrose. The organic cane is grown in Florida using sustainable farming practices. That's meaningful. Conventional cane is often grown with heavy pesticide use and poor labor conditions. Florida Crystals addresses those issues through organic certification and fair labor practices. But once the cane reaches the refinery, it's processed the same way as conventional sugar. Florida Crystals reveals that organic certification doesn't address processing. The cane is organic, but it's still refined to 99.9% pure sucrose. The minerals are still removed. The molasses is still filtered out. The organic label applies to growing, not to refining. People buy Florida Crystals thinking they're getting less processed sugar. The organic label creates that impression. But this is fully refined white sugar, just from organic cane. The crystals are uniform. The color is pure white. The behavior is identical to Domino. The only difference is how the cane was grown. I switched to Florida Crystals years ago thinking I'd solved the sugar problem. I was supporting better farming practices, which matters, but I was still eating sugar that had been dissolved and rebuilt. The organic certification made me feel better about my choice, but it didn't change what the sugar actually was. The slightly higher price reflects organic farming costs, not different refining. You're paying more for cane that was grown without pesticides, then processed using the same industrial methods that strip and rebuild the crystals. Wholesome organic cane sugar is organic and fair trade certified, meaning the cane was grown sustainably and farmers were paid fairly. Those certifications matter for ethics and environment, but like Florida crystals, this is still fully refined sugar. The cane was grown better, then processed the same way as conventional sugar. The Fair Trade certification ensures farmers receive minimum prices and work in safe conditions. That's important. Sugar production has a brutal history of exploitation, and Fair Trade addresses that. But Fair Trade doesn't change refining. The sugar is still dissolved, filtered, and recrystallized into pure sucrose. Wholesome represents the best version of industrial sugar. Organic growing, fair trade labor, sustainable practices, all of that is genuinely better than conventional sugar production. But the refining is still industrial. The crystals are still uniform. The purity is still 99.9% sucrose. Wholesome is the sugar you buy when you care about how food is produced, but still want sugar that behaves like conventional sugar. The organic and fair trade certifications address real problems in sugar production, but they don't address the refining process that strips sugar to pure sucrose. The crystals are slightly less uniform than Domino, which suggests less aggressive refining, but it's still refined sugar, white, granulated, stripped of molasses. You're getting sugar that was grown ethically, then processed industrially. Better inputs. Same fundamental approach. Enough with the dissolved crystals and rebuilt sucrose. Subscribe and stick around because the next 3 sugars prove that real cane juice still exists. You just need to know where to look. Zulka Morena Pure Cane Sugar is where we cross into real sugar territory. This is minimally refined cane sugar, evaporated cane juice that hasn't been dissolved and rebuilt. The crystals are larger and uneven. The color is light tan from retained molasses. This is sugar that remembers it was cane juice. The minimal refining means the sugar is processed just enough to crystallize, but not enough to strip all the molasses. You can see the difference. Zulka is tan, not white. The crystals are irregular, not uniform. Some are larger, some are smaller. That variation is proof of less processing. The retained molasses gives the sugar subtle flavor beyond pure sweetness. It's not as pronounced as brown sugar, but it's there. A hint of caramel, a touch of complexity. That flavor is what we lost when we started refining sugar to pure white. The behavior is different from refined sugar. Zulka clumps slightly when exposed to humidity because the molasses absorbs moisture. That clumping is annoying for storage, but proof that molasses is present. Refined sugar with its 99.9% purity never clumps because there's nothing to absorb moisture. Zulka teaches you that white sugar's perfect behavior isn't natural. It's engineered through refining. Real cane sugar clumps, varies in crystal size, and has slight color from molasses. Those characteristics are what sugar does when it hasn't been dissolved and rebuilt. The larger crystals take longer to dissolve, which changes how you use it. Zulka works great for baking, where sugar dissolves during mixing. It's less ideal for cold beverages where you want instant dissolving. That's the trade-off: real sugar behavior instead of engineered convenience. Rapunzel Rapadura is evaporated cane juice, cane pressed, juice evaporated, that's it. No separation of molasses and crystals. No dissolving and recrystallizing, just cane juice reduced to solid form through evaporation. This is what sugar was before we decided to refine it. The production process is radically simple. Press sugarcane, collect the juice, heat it until water evaporates, grind the dried result into granules. The molasses stays with the sugar because they're never separated. You're eating whole cane juice in solid form, not reconstructed crystals. Rapadura contains all the minerals that were in the cane juice: calcium, iron, magnesium, potassium. Those minerals are present in tiny amounts, but they're there. Refined sugar contains 0 minerals because refining removed them. That complete absence of refining is what makes this sugar real. The clumping is inevitable. Rapadura clumps aggressively when exposed to humidity because the molasses and minerals absorb moisture. You need to store it in airtight containers or break up clumps before using. That inconvenience is proof of integrity. Nothing has been added to prevent clumping because nothing has been removed that would cause clumping. The flavor is pronounced. Rich molasses taste, caramel notes, complexity beyond sweetness. That flavor is what cane juice tastes like. Refined white sugar tastes like pure sweetness because refining removed everything except sucrose. Rapadura tastes like cane because it is cane. The challenge? Rapadura doesn't behave like white sugar. It doesn't dissolve as easily. It changes the flavor of baked goods. It's darker and moister. Those differences are what real sugar does when it hasn't been processed into uniformity. You're eating cane juice, not engineered crystals. Panella is solid cane sugar, cane juice evaporated into blocks or cones, then sold in solid form. This is sugar before crystallization, before refining, before any processing beyond evaporation. You buy a block of dried cane juice, grate or chop what you need, and use it. This is what sugar was for thousands of years. The production is ancient. Press sugarcane, collect juice, boil it in large pans until water evaporates, pour the thick syrup into molds, let it harden. The result is solid blocks of concentrated cane juice. No crystals, no refining, no separation of components, just cane juice reduced to solid form. Panella proves that sugar doesn't need processing. Cane juice can be reduced to solid form through simple evaporation. Everything else, the dissolving, filtering, recrystallizing, exists for convenience and appearance, not for making sugar work. The behavior is completely different from granulated sugar. Panella is hard and solid. You need to grate it or chop it into pieces. It doesn't pour or measure like granulated sugar. It dissolves slowly in liquids. Those characteristics are what sugar does when it's just evaporated cane juice. The flavor is intense. Deep molasses taste, caramel complexity, mineral notes. That flavor is what cane tastes like. Every other sugar on this list has been processed to reduce or eliminate that flavor. Panella preserves it because nothing has been removed. Panella teaches you that we've been lied to about what sugar should be. We've been told that white, granulated, instantly dissolving sugar is superior, that uniformity is quality, that pure sweetness is the goal. All of those claims are marketing. Real sugar is brown, solid or irregular, slow dissolving, and flavorful. Real sugar tastes like the plant it came from. The inconvenience is the price of authenticity. Panella requires grating or chopping. It doesn't measure like granulated sugar. It changes recipes because it behaves differently. But that inconvenience is what real sugar requires. Industrial sugar is convenient because processing made it convenient. Panella is inconvenient because it's just evaporated cane juice. Real sugar is cane juice reduced, evaporated until solid, with molasses and minerals intact. Industrial sugar is cane juice dismantled and rebuilt, dissolved into syrup, filtered to pure sucrose, recrystallized into uniform grains. The bags in your pantry are sugar that's been stripped to 99.9% purity, engineered for instant dissolving and perfect behavior. Your baking deserves sugar that clumps when humid, varies in crystal size, and tastes like cane, not rebuilt sucrose that behaves like a chemistry experiment. Hit subscribe for more food truth that exposes what's really in your pantry. Drop a comment about which of these 9 sugars you've been using. I'm guessing most of you have at least one bag of dissolved and rebuilt crystals instead of evaporated cane juice. Keep your standards high and your sugar actually whole.